Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, hi, my name is Dana. I upload new videos at least once a week. Usually there's something tea related, but I do like to change it up every now and again, and heading into the fall and winter, aka tea season, I am hoping to upload even more frequently. So now is a great time to subscribe so you can stay on top of all of that. So today, as promised, I am going to try Tea by Daniel's Glitter and Golden Milk as a latte. I made a video where I reviewed this tea and I tried it just as like a straight hot tea, but technically this is meant to be a latte mix, so I didn't want to leave you guys high and dry with that. I definitely wanted to try it as a latte with you and see how it is in comparison. Generally, I prefer my matchas without milk. I prefer it just straight, and I actually usually do them as a shot and just quick, get it over with, done. But this is more of a tea that's meant to be sipped and enjoyed. It has stone ground green tea, which is the matcha. It has turmeric, ginger, and a little bit of sugar to add some sweetness, which plays really nicely with the spices. It's a nice like sweet and spicy. And there was a time on my channel where I tried to follow one of David's tea's recipes to make a golden milk, and it ended up really weird and thick. It was like a curry. It was horrible. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It would have been good if I like dumped it over like some shrimp and veggies or some tofu or something, but it was not good as a drink. So I'm hoping that this glitter and golden milk tea will be a good version of golden milk with the addition of matcha. I think it's gonna be really awesome. Ginger and turmeric both have a ton of benefits. They're anti-inflammatory. Ginger is really good for any kind of tummy troubles like digestion and nausea. And then matcha is just like a superstar of a tea. I cannot vouch enough for how awesome matcha is. I don't really use it as like a treat yourself moment usually. Like I prefer to just take it for the benefits. But today we're gonna treat ourselves and make it into an awesome latte. So I'm gonna be using this plain oat milk. The vanilla silk oat milk is actually my favorite, but I didn't think vanilla really goes with these flavors. I wanted something kind of neutral, so like that ginger and turmeric can really shine. And the instructions say to boil 8 to 10 ounces of milk over the stove and just add 2 teaspoons of matcha. But I have this awesome Nespresso frother, so I'm actually just gonna use that. When I worked at Starbucks and we made hot matcha lattes, we would just put the matcha right in the frother with the milk and like steam it. And I always would think like, I'm like, wow, that would be so good if it was real matcha, because it's mostly sugar that you get at Starbucks. And when I worked at David's Tea, we did water down the matcha before we added the milk to it, so I would just always be like, oh, I want to do this but with an actual matcha. So here's my chance. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour my oat milk into my frother, and then I'll add the tea. Where are those fill lines? I'm still getting to know this frother. I don't want a whole lot of foam, but I would like a little because it's a latte after all. But there isn't really much of a way to control how much foam we get. So I'll just have to hope for the best. But I'll put a little extra milk so we don't end up with too much foam. And then even though this isn't a David's Tea, I'm still gonna use the David's Tea Perfect Spoon because it does call for 2 teaspoons. David's Tea's Perfect Spoon is 2.5 teaspoons, so I'm just gonna add a little less and not like overfill the spoon. I love turmeric. I love it so much. I love ginger the most. Ginger is probably my favorite spice ever that has ever existed, but turmeric has a lot more benefits, I think. Okay, so I have it. Here's how much I'm adding. Then I'm just gonna plop it right in there. Gonna kind of sprinkle it so we don't get any clumpies. And I'm gonna go stick this on there so it can fluff up for us. Okay, so I did it on the setting that is not supposed to give foam. Ooh, but there is a little. Okay, good. I was gonna say, I am kind of hoping that we get a little bit, but didn't want too much with this. Let's pour it all right into our cup. I usually like my matcha much more concentrated, but I mean, if we're gonna do a latte, let's like do it, you know? So here's a beautiful golden milk latte that I was expecting. All right, let's give it the first sip. Ooh, it's really good. It's definitely not very strong. The oat milk pairs really nice with it, actually. I was actually thinking I wanted to get soy milk for this. So I'm like, does it have a more neutral flavor? But the oat milk is awesome. I'm glad I went with that. And it's just very light. I mean, I definitely taste like the turmeric and the ginger, but I don't really taste the matcha, which is fine by me, honestly. Oh, it's really warming and comforting. I think personally, I would still rather drink it just straight because that's my preference. I mean, I like lattes in certain contexts, but I probably, you know, maybe I actually would. This is pretty good. I think what I would probably do next time though, if I do crave this again, because I'm feeling like I might actually, it's the oat milk with the turmeric and the ginger just tastes really nice. The sweetness from the sugar isn't as prominent in the latte as it was in just the straight tea, as well as the matcha. The matcha is definitely not as like it's not as matcha-y. And I do always expect, like, whenever there's turmeric in something, you're not gonna taste much of the other ingredients. It's gonna be like primarily turmeric that you're tasting, which I'm good with. I love turmeric, and I don't really love the taste of matcha very much, so I like this. But as I was saying, if I were to make it again, I would probably add double the amount of tea, because this glass is, I think, like 10 ounces maybe? I'm not really sure, 8 to 10 ounces. And that's how much it said to use milk-wise, with only 2 teaspoons of tea. And I'm not getting like as much full like tea flavor as I kind of expected to. It's very milky, and it's just like a really light, nice hint of those flavors. So I think I would prefer it a little stronger. So that's kind of on my end, like just a personal preference, which is kind of why I'm not as crazy about lattes, because I'd prefer to like taste the tea than to taste milk. But this is so comforting. It's really warming. Like a latte already on its own, like no matter what your latte is, I already think of it as like a really warming, like cozy kind of like the perfect drink to like curl up when there's a thunderstorm, or like to kick off like fall festivities. You know, like I always think of it, or like after a hard day, you like curl up with a latte and you like have a book or like do some journaling. You know, like I always think of like any kind of latte as like a really cozy experience. And this is like that times 10, because the turmeric and the ginger and the oat milk are all just really comforting flavors to me. So I'm really into this. I really like this tea. I think I like it better as the regular tea with no milk. Or maybe if I made it like how David's Tea made our matcha lattes, where we would use first like some water and we'd like whisk it in with the water and then top it with the milk, maybe I might like that a little more, because the milk is overpowering like the tea flavor a little bit, but it's definitely good. Okay, now I'm going to add in some pepper. I just have this like pepper grinder. It's like a Whole Foods pepper grinder. I'm gonna just add some pepper to the top so I can get like my pepper in with my turmeric, so it'll absorb nice into my system and I can get all the benefits. Plus I do like that extra like spicy kick. So I'll just put it on top and I'll kind of let it like sink into my tea as I go. I like this because it's a flavored matcha, but it's not sweet. Like there's some sugar in it, but it's not, the intention is not to be sweet or desserty. Me, all of David's teas, flavored matchas just don't taste right to me. Like, I don't know if I don't like the kind of sugar they use or like what it really is, but I just have never been crazy about their flavored matchas. If Tea by Daniel did do another flavored matcha, I'd be eager to try it, because this one is a great like first impression for me. But if they were to come out with like a strawberry matcha or something like that, I'd be curious if I would like it if it's from like a different company and not David's Tea, or if I just don't like sweet desserty matchas in the first place, because I think of matcha as like a very vegetal, like green tasting thing. Like it almost reminds me like when you do like sweet matchas, it almost reminds me of like if you were to try to like make ice cream out of like broccoli or something, you know, like the greenness with sugar kind of gets weird for me sometimes. But I mean, who am I to say? People all over the world love matcha in a sweet context, so I'm probably in the minority for that. But that being said, this is the kind of context like I enjoy for a matcha latte, would be like spices and stuff. So I could definitely see myself drinking this again, like on a really difficult day, as like a treat yourself, or like a comforting on like a snow day or something. Like if it's snowing outside, I could picture myself definitely making this latte again. But before that, I think I could see myself drinking it as like a matcha shot. The only reason I wouldn't want to probably do that is because there is sugar in it, and like consuming sugar that fast like doesn't really do anything for you, whereas like the matcha and the turmeric really do. So I don't know, I might try it as a shot every now and again, or even just as like a cup of matcha in the morning, like just a cup of tea. I think this is an awesome new tea. I think Daniel and Renata do a lot of really cool creative things at Tea by Daniel, and I'm just, every time I love it. I'm just wowed like every time. I haven't tried anything yet that I haven't liked. And also I haven't had the chance to like spend my actual money there yet, because they are too generous and keep like sending me amazing teas to try. I hope you guys are having a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.